Hi, this is Kat Chancellor with Stamp Art Connection and StampArtConnection.com. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and this afternoon I wanted to showcase a couple of the stamp sets that were used as make and takes, and here's our make and take card on stage. And since I just got my entire pre-order, I wanted to go ahead and make the card right here using the products from the pre-order. Primarily because sometimes at the make and takes at OnStage, you don't always have access to all the dies and big shots. And this particular stamp or this particular project does use the dies. So I wanted to go ahead and demonstrate putting together this card with the new dies. So this is a wonderful new set called Sailing Home. It is a rubber set right here with the cling. So it's the new cling stamp set, and it just has some really nice images. The sailboat, a lighthouse, the anchor, very nautical, and some wonderful script and sentiments to add to your project. Then included with this comes the smooth sailing dies. Now these are the new dies that Stampin' Up! Has come out with. So let's go ahead, because I haven't really looked at them yet. So this is a voyage of discovery, pardon the pun, for me as well. So this is a kind of a different type of folder. It's much thinner. And here are the new dies that Stampin' Up! Will be putting out. They're much thinner and much lighter than the other dies. And the die that I'm going to need is going to be the die for this wheelhouse right here, and for this rope accent right there. So I'm going to go ahead and pull those out. I have all the pieces that were provided in the kit for the OnStage make and take. There's a base card here, which is one of the cards that comes with an envelope. So here's the envelope. So that's our base card. There's a piece of DSP that is featured as part of this set. Another piece of DSP. And I guess this is cut at 3 by 4 1/4, and this covers the entire card at 5 by 3 1/2. So there's this piece, which is going to be layered on top of this piece, which we're going to it's a piece of watercolor paper, and we're going to use our watercolor, our pen here with some color, and the color I'm going to be using is Balmy Blue. And then there's another piece, because we're going to stamp and cut out the lighthouse. So I'm just going to pull this out. And again, I am just making this as I see it here. I haven't really prepared, so this is kind of a kind of live, if you will. And I don't want that. I think I want, there we go. We're going to use this block here. And I've already stamped my sentiment and cut it out using the punch that they used for that they had for us there at the table. And then I have my 2 pieces of cardstock that I'm going to cut my wheel, my ship's wheel. And then I have a small piece here. Let me put this right here. I have a small piece here, which is, this is kind of a rope accent that we're going to cut out. So I've got that, and I need to pull out my lighthouse. So I'm going to pull out my lighthouse, because I'm going to cut my lighthouse out after I stamp it with Night of Navy. So I'm going to stamp that and cut that out with Night and Navy. And I'm going to go ahead and watercolor this first. So let me just go ahead and put that here. And let's go ahead and watercolor what we're going to put our lighthouse on. So I've squeezed my stamp pad like that between my palms, opened it up. I'm using my aqua painter here, and what I'm going to do is the watercolor paper always has two sides. It usually has a rough side and a smooth side. I'm going to go ahead and use the smooth side, and I'm just going to go add some water first, and then I'm going to go ahead and then I'm just going to lightly add the pigment to my watercolor paper and just kind of blend like that. And there you go. I'm just going to go ahead and blend that very nicely across my paper. Now this is going to dry, and according to the way our sample picture is, it looks like I have something stamped back here in a brown color, so I'm gonna have to go get that color. But while I'm waiting for my watercolor to dry, I'm gonna go ahead and grab my lighthouse, and we're going to go ahead and open this up here. Brand new stamp, so I'm just going to kind of test it out. Perfect. Oh, that is a beautiful stamp. I'm just going to go ahead and stamp that right there. Oh, look at that image. That is a beautiful image. I really, really like that. That is really pretty. Let me go ahead and close this. Let me just pull in so you can kind of see just how pretty that came out. Isn't that pretty? I really like that. Look at that. It's just really, really very pretty. And since I'm cutting it out, it doesn't matter that I got fingerprints on it. But let me go ahead and pull back out so you see what I'm going to do. So that's going to get cut there, my Big Shot. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cut these two right here. So I will be right back. Now, if you received, I just returned. Now, if you received my my newsletter, you know I put out some information about the fact that with these new dies, we may have to add some or use some shims, because these new dies may involve a new, we're going to get a new Big Shot like machine. So I just ran these through, and actually I really don't see there was a problem. I ran it through using my precision base plate, and these came out perfectly. There's my wheel. Now I probably could have run that through again with a shim, because what's missing is some of the detail that goes along the wheel. So I might run this through again and just see if I can get some more detail on this. This is just a piece of crumb cake. And looking at this piece, it looks like, and I'm going to have to get a oh, this one came out perfectly. Look at that. That's the very nice rope piece. So that came out. Let me run this again just to see if I can get some more of the impression on that piece. Okay, I ran another piece through here. Let's see how I put another piece of paper. Oh, that came out much better. So it cuts perfectly as far as the outline, but this particular die needed like and here's the extra piece of paper that I used as kind of a shim, and I turned the die upside down, but it ran through very nicely. Oops, let me put my microphone back on because I'm moving back and forth here. Okay, so there you go. You can see how nice. Let me pull in. So you can see how nice this ship's wheel, kind of, you can see the detail, and then this is the rope detail that I cut out with this other piece of this other die. So those are really nice, and these are going to go off over here to go on my card. And I can just go ahead and move all these other little pieces and parts aside. Okay, and here I cut out our lighthouse, and these new dies cut much closer to the image. So I just kind of wanted to show you the die covers right up to the edge of the image. Then when you take it out, it already kind of gives you a little bit of white space, and it's actually even all the way around. So I like those. They're very thin. They're much thinner than the other dies that we're using. So let me go ahead and move out, kind of move some of these pieces aside. So there we go. We have all our pieces and parts. Set my dies aside that we need to put this together. Now let's go back to our piece of watercolor paper. Here's our watercolor paper. We're going to put our lighthouse right there, and it has another image that goes behind it. So I have taken some crumb cake, and the two colors here in this DSP are crumb cake and soft suede. So I'm going to take the crumb cake, and I'm going to go back to my stamp set over here. Here it is. And I'm going to pull out this, it's a compass wheel right here. Pull out my compass wheel, put this on this block, and I'm just going to stamp it right about there where I'm going to test it, okay? And I'm going to stamp it right there. There it is. Now the one other thing I want to do, since I'm at home and I'm not at the on stage, is I want to trim this cardstock down just a little bit so that I've got a border around my card. So this is 3.5 by 5. So I'm going to cut this down. I'm going to grab my score sheet. I'm going to cut this down 1/4. So I'm going to cut it down right there to 3 1/4. And move that out of the way. And then I'm going to cut it, it's 5. So I'm going to cut it down to 4 3/4. Okay. So now that fits kind of very nicely like that. And then I have this piece that's going to fit over like that. And then this piece that's going to fit over like that. And that pretty much frames that piece there. And I really don't need this much of a big piece, so I'm going to cut this down even further. So I'm kind of playing around with this to 2.5 by 3 3/4. So let me cut this down a little bit even further to 2.5 by 3 3/4. There. So that will go there, and then that will go there. So that's kind of shows a little bit more of the DSP. In fact, now I can cut this one down to 2 3/4 by 2 3/4 by 4. Okay, so these are probably not really necessary adjustments, but I'm making them because I kind of want to change the card a little bit. Okay, so now what we're going to do is I'm going to put my lighthouse, and I'm going to use some of my glue dots. Put that there, and let's adhere this. And since this is very heavy paper, instead of using my snail, I'm just going to use my tear tape. Okay, so there's that. And now I'm going to grab a couple of glue dots and just glue down my ship's wheel here, and they fit very nicely. And if they kind of fit a little bit over, all I did was kind of see how it's a little bit over. I just kind of folded it on itself right there, and we're going to put that probably right about there, because that's gonna I want that to kind of sit off a little bit. Okay, so then that's going to go on here, and on top of that I'm going to have my sentiment, which is going to go right here. And let's see, we're going to put this here. And I can put my sentiment right there, and I can put my, and for this I'm simply going to grab a piece of, I'm going to grab snail, and I'm just going to run that, grabbing a piece of scrap paper, I'm just going to run that along the back of this. And there we go. And we're going to have that right there. We're going to run this along there, but let's go ahead and start putting our pieces onto our cardstock. Okay, so let's go ahead and put that, I kind of put it up there like that to leave me lots of room down here to adhere. I'm going to adhere this piece here. There you go. So that piece went around on the bottom, and then I'm going to put this piece here, and then what I'm going to add is going to be an anchor that comes with this suite. It's a sail away trinket. Here's the anchor, and it's very flat, so it's going to fit nicely on your card. And I do have a piece of this is the new Night of Navy and Sahara Sand Baker's Twine. So we're just going to, and there you go, isn't that pretty? So then this is going to go right here, and I'm going to grab a glue dot and put the glue dot right there. So let me grab my glue dot. And the glue dots fit perfectly on the back. If they're a little bit over, all you got to do is kind of curl your glue dot back a little bit. So there you go. And I'm going to cut this just a tad, and I might just kind of fray it a little bit there on the end. And there you go. So there it is. There's a very nice little note card which matches our sample using our Sailing Home, brand new, will be in the new catalogs bundle, and it's an entire suite because they'll have DSP, matching trinkets, and the coordinating dies that are really nice, the new ones. So I really like those. So thanks for joining me for this. I hope you're excited, this new product launch, and stay tuned for a couple of my other on stage make and takes that I'm going to make right here. Kat Chancellor, Stamp Art Connection, happy stamping.